All right, so today we're here with Luke, Bear, and Harvey, and this is their roadmap to success. And when I first got here, the dogs were really excited, especially the two bigger dogs. They wanted to kind of jump up and weren't respecting personal boundaries. So one of the biggest things that we want to work on today, sit. See that? So right there, I just want to point out that they wanted to be, there was a little bit of resource guarding. So the dogs were essentially, the dogs wanted to kind of guard the food. So I'm just going to put it away at this point because I want to work on more of the video than I want to work on the resource guarding. If this were to happen, you can use the escalating consequences as long as it doesn't make them worse, which it did not at that point. So I hissed at them when they started to be a little growly with each other over the resource, and that calmed them down and they stopped. So if they look for things that you can anticipate them doing that could escalate to a larger fight or a disagreement, and stop them there. That's the best time to try to stop this, is before it even starts. And so when I first got here, they weren't respecting personal boundaries. So I wanted to really put in a lot of rules and structure to help the dogs be a little more cohesive and really start listening to commands better. So one of the first rules is no furniture for a minimum of 30 days or until the behavioral issues that you called us about have been resolved. Get down, buddy. The next one is to not let the dogs outside without sitting first. So they always have to sit before they go outside. When you come home from work, make sure that the dogs have calm energy in their kennels before they're being allowed to be let out. This might mean that some of the dogs might calm down faster. Those dogs get to come out of their kennel first. So we want to really use this little pack here to use that to reinforce good behavior. You want them to compete for being the best dog, because the best dog gets the most rewards. So the best dog who is calm in the kennel gets to go out first. The best dog that comes to you when they're called, they get the treat. So we want to use this as a competition to motivate them to be better behaved and do what you want them to do. So that's so those are a couple of the rules, and that includes no furniture being on the bed at night. So that's until they start to see themselves in a follower position and they're listening to you on a regular basis. The next thing is we went over a leadership exercise in the video above. Again, I recommend the guardians going through this, each of the guardians going through this with each dog once a day for the next 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks are probably going to be the most challenging time for the dogs to start learning their new behaviors and new rules. So this will just really reinforce the new leadership establishment hierarchy in the house. Both of the guardians, the human guardians, should be looked at as the leaders, and the dogs have a follower mindset looking to them for that type of direction. Another thing I want to mention is when you're outside with the dogs and they're off leash, is to make sure you bring a lot of food with you. So like something really yummy, like a hot dog, cut that up into little pieces, and when they're outside running around, call them over and try putting the piece of hot dog like in your hand, like you have a ping pong ball sitting here. Keep your palm open like that, and then slowly lower your hand down as long as they can see you, and that will make them come over faster to you. As long as you have their attention, they're looking at you. And give them the treat and then let them go back to doing whatever they were doing beforehand. That way they start to associate their time outdoors as any time they get called over. Most of the time that just means they get a treat and they get to go back to having fun and having a good time. It doesn't just mean that, oh, playtime is over, we're not going to have any fun anymore. We have to go inside. So always remember to be more motivating to your dogs than whatever they're doing otherwise. The next thing is when the dogs are doing something you don't agree with, you can disagree with them using the escalating consequences. Remember, you want to hiss, stand up abruptly and turn and face the dog, and then march towards them. The most important part is also when you stop the escalation. So if the dog is chewing on something you don't like and you hiss at them and they stop, you stop there as well. If they don't stop, then you stand up abruptly and go on and so on and so forth until they actually stop the behavior themselves. That's when you want to stop. Don't make a big deal out of it. You don't want to congratulate them. No, good dog for listening to you. Oh, good job for not ripping this up. Just walk away calmly. And the other thing is to remember to keep petting with a purpose. So that means every time you pet your dog, you're essentially saying, good job. Keep doing this behavior. So if you're petting your dog to try to soothe them and calm them down, you're really reinforcing that they should be worked up about something or they should be anxious. So only pet them when they're behaving appropriately to the situation. and then asking them to come over to you and receive pets for good behavior. The last thing I want to mention is that we use a different technique with Bear here, and he was getting reinforced when he was jumping up. He liked, even if I didn't push him away. Remember, dogs have this thing called an opposition reflex, and it means that when they feel pressure, they actually tend to want to push against it more or lean into it. So when he would jump up on me and I didn't even push him away, I just stood still, it was enough for him to keep wanting to jump up more again. So what I started doing is actually moving my body away from the pressure, not fast, because fast might indicate that I'm playing a game with him. But like say he's right here and he jumps up, I just kind of moved my body sideways and kind of pulled away from him. And then I asked him to sit. So I redirected him to doing something positive that I want him to be doing. So then I would pet him, so he starts making the association that him jumping up does not get him the attention he wants, but sitting down does. And you want your dogs to start to come over to you and respectfully sit next to you to ask for attention instead of invading your personal space. All right, so remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.